Hey, welcome students to another video tutorial. This one we are going to step into making multi-view drawings using AutoCAD. So just like we did with our drawing board, our paper, and our pencil, we're going to make a multi-view drawing out of these different ones in this document here. So this example one I've picked because it's got some angles, holes, hidden lines. We're going to work through this one together in this video. And then there are 4 drawings down below that you can work through at your own pace. And they get a little progressively more challenging as you work down from 1 to number 4. All right, so on this example one, I'm going to make this side here that I'm putting my mouse on, my front view. I think it shows good detail. It's got the hole in it where it looks like a circle. So that's going to be my front view. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares long. We're going to assume each square is an inch. And it's 4 squares tall. So let's go to AutoCAD. Now, I've already been into AutoCAD and I imported my layer properties from a previous video. So I'm just going to start out on the object layer. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm just going to pick kind of a random spot here to start, and I'm going to make a 6 by 4 rectangle. Right? And then I'm going to utilize the offset tool a lot in this video. So to make my life a little bit easier, what I'm going to do now is take my rectangle and I'm going to come down here to the command center and I'm going to type in the word explode. And some of you may have used the text explode when you made your house numbers. What explode does is it makes this into 4 separate line segments. Right? So now I can take these line segments and I can offset them individually versus offsetting all 4 sides of my rectangle all the time. And so this is going to be where my front view fits. Let's go look at that example drawing. What I want to do next is I'm going to set up my top and my right side view. They are 3 squares, so 3 inches in depth for both of those views. Right, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to use the offset tool, like I said. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to offset it to 2 inches. I just said they're 3 inches in depth, but I want to have a little space in between my front and my top side view. And I want to have a little space in between my front view and my right side view. So I'm going to offset those lines at 2 inches. Then I can click Escape to free me from the offset tool. I'm going to hit the space bar to open it back up again. And down in my command center, I'm going to type the number 3 because this is where I'm going to set the depth. So I'm going to come from this line over 3, and I'm going to come from this line up 3. All right, let's change our view a little bit here so you can see what we just did. All right, now I'm going to grab the line tool and using my snaps, I'm going to fill in the ends. And I kind of overshot that one. I'll come back and trim it. So I'm going to hit spacebar again, and I'm going to get it to snap to those endpoints. So spacebar will free me from the line tool. Spacebar will bring it back up. And my snap tool will help me get these ends dialed in and looking sharp. And like I said, I went a little long on this one. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to pick my trim tool, and we'll trim that little extra segment off. All right. So now at this point, I said I imported my construction, my object, and my text. I am going to go to Layer Properties, and I'm going to add another layer to this. Actually, we're going to add 2 layers to this. So we're going to hit the plus twice. All right, one of these layers I'm going to rename to be my hidden line. And the other layer, and we may or may not get to it in this video, I've got 15 minutes of recording time, is going to be my hidden line. And so if we don't, oh, I've already got a hidden line. It's going to be my, let's try this again, center line. Right, and we may or may not get to center lines in this video. All right, so then we're going to come over to line type, and for hidden line, I'm going to click on the load button. We'll go down to the H's, and we'll pick hidden line. We'll say OK. I'm going to click on the hidden line and say OK. And then we'll make a hidden line here. I like giving them different colors just so it's obvious to me and to you that we're on different layers. So I'm going to make my hidden lines green. All right, and then I'm going to come into center line. I'll click on line type. We'll go to load. We're going to come down here to the C's and we'll pick center line. We'll click on OK. We'll make sure we've got our center line selected on this menu, and then we'll click OK. And again, we can give this a little different color. If we're running out of colors, which ones haven't we used that? How about light pink? All right. All right, so I'm going to go to my center line. Actually, I lucked out and I ended up on my center line here. And I'm going to use the offset tool. All right, so now it's asking me how far I want to offset. I do want to go 3 inches, so I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to offset this line. Oh, not up 3. I'm going to click escape. I want to offset this line over 3. Right, oh, but that should have been my center line color. It's not, so we'll move it in just a second here. Now I'm going to offset 2 inches. I clicked enter too soon. Let's go to offset. We'll hit 2, then enter. And I'm going to offset this line down 2 inches. Then I'm going to click escape. And I'm going to move these 2 lines over to my center line layer. Right, then we're going to go back to object. And we're going to draw that circle in here. And let's go check the measurement of our circle. The circle is 1 inch in diameter. So I'm going to pick my center point. Now it's asking me to specify radius or diameter. I'm going to use a diameter, so I'll hit D and then 1 inch. And oh, it made that one a center line. Some of you are probably laughing at me because I keep forgetting this here. And so let's put that on our object. All right, here we go. Oh, and now it changed my other ones back. So I'm on center line now. Let's try this one last time. Put those on our center line layer. We'll go back to our object line layer. Oh, center line. I hit escape, so I'm freed from those. I'm hitting the color button. You can see the time down at the bottom of my screen. It's getting late for me. All right, there we go. We're back at it. So now I've got the hole on there. The next thing I want to do is I want to draw the angled lines on this face, on my front face. And again, if we come in here and look, they're up 2 inches, which just happens to be where the center line intersects with this vertical line. And I can tell by looking at the box here, they extend up at a 45-degree angle. Right? So we're going to grab the line tool, and I'm going to come from this point right here up at a 45-degree angle. So I'll hit tab to toggle over. I can hit tab to come back, and I'm just going to overshoot this one on purpose. And then we'll come back here. Now this time, because I've gone past, click twice there, because I went past 90 degrees, this time I want my line to extend up this way at a 135-degree angle. And again, I'm just going to overshoot this on purpose. All right, so I can hit escape, and then I'll use the trim tool. I'm just going to click and kind of hold down the trim tool with my mouse, and I can draw this little squiggly line through all the objects that I want to trim. All right, now I'm going to go back to the line tool, and this time I'm going to come from here, and I'm going to draw some lines coming up to the top view, right, to show where these 2 intersecting planes intersect, where that corner is, where they touch each other. So there's going to be my lines for my top view. We can do the same thing over here on the right side view, where the vertical meets up with that angled piece. There's going to be an intersecting plane. And I'm going to go back to trim. Again, I'm holding down on my mouse and just dragging that line through there to trim and free those up. And now I'm going to go to my hidden line layer. And I'm going to grab the line tool, and we're going to put some hidden lines on the top view where the edge of that hole would go through. So again, I'm getting it to snap to perpendicular, which would be a 90 for me. Now I can come in here and I can trim these two line segments away. Sometimes it's hard to get in here with the trim tool, so every once in a while I'll just select these lines by clicking on them and then hit the delete key on my keyboard. You just got to make sure you break that line segment before you use that delete trick. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing coming over here to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. All right, so there we got those. So again, I'm going to trim. I'll free those up, and then I can click delete here. Some of you may think, gosh, I would approach this drawing a little bit differently, and that's fine. If you've got a way that makes sense to you, that's great. You don't have to do the drawing exactly as I'm doing it. There are many ways to do these multi-views, so I'm just trying to show you one way here of getting this done. All right, so I said we'd hit the center lines later, but we've already used them a little bit. We might as well use them one more time. This hole here should get a center line through it. Now over here, the center line would fall right where the object line is. And an object line is always going to take precedence over a center line. So I'm going to grab my line tool. Before I grab it, I should go to my center line layer. I can grab my line tool. And I can extend this center line up. And then we'll do the same thing. I'm going to trim this segment in between these two. All right, now I'm going to go back to my hidden line, right? Because there is a groove cut through this thing as well. We've got one more detail we need to add to this, is this groove that's cut through. So in the front view, it's going to look like a hidden line. In the right side view and in the top view, we're actually going to see it as an object line, right? And counting the squares here, I can see this one is down 1 inch. It's in an inch from each edge. And if we're looking at it from the top view, it's in an inch from the two ends as well. All right, so I said I'd grab the hidden line. Now that I explained that to you, maybe I'd be better off starting with the object line. So I'm going to go back to object. I'm going to grab the offset tool, and like I said, it's in an inch from a lot of the edges, so I'm just going to offset at an inch. I'm going to grab this line, offset it in. I'm going to offset this line in an inch, this line up an inch, this line in an inch. Right, over here on this side, I'm going to come down an inch, in an inch, and in an inch from this side. And so I've got kind of a grid here. Now we're going to use the trim tool and clean this up. I'm going to do that dragging method again. And so we'll start here and we can drag through, get rid of them. I missed a couple, oops, so we'll just click on them. There we go. I didn't have my trim tool. I couldn't figure out why the whole line was disappearing there. Oh, I did that one backwards. We're going to have to draw that line again. So this inside section should go. These two lines should stay because that's where the two angled surfaces meet up with each other. So I just wanted to trim them away. Now let's see if I can do this without making that same mistake. Here I'm going to get rid of this line. I'm going to click here and here. So I would see this recessed piece. This would be wide open at the top. I'm going to click escape to free me from that trim tool, and then I'm going to delete this line segment, and I'm going to delete this line segment. And like I said, I made a little goof up here at the top. There should be an object line that comes all the way up here. So I'll have to grab the trim tool and get rid of this and get rid of that. And so this is what it should look like. We've got one line left to go, and then you're going to save this and be done. We're going to go back to the hidden line, and now I need to drag from this corner a hidden line over. So I'm going to grab my line tool. I'm going to come from here, extend over at 90 or a 180 until I hit that line. Come back with the trim tool. Get rid of those two, and there we have it. We got our object drawn from 3 views with hidden lines, center lines, and object lines. So